Whoa! Pump the hate brakes, Fox and friends.
So this video is not what you're thinking, but that title and thumbnail was simply too perfect not to use for it. So for the time being, don't click that dislike button just yet. Now, before we run over what we're going to actually break down in this video, huge thanks to Crix and T White Ninja for all the help with this. So, some context with this: at the moment within the game, there are certain methods of farming an insane amount of loot within a very short period of time in the new Wakanda regions. The methods revolve all around destroying corrupted vibranium spears that come out of the ground and then reloading the checkpoint. For every spear you actually destroy, you get 2 pieces of gear. There's some areas that you can do a run of this checkpoint in around about 20-30 seconds and you'll get roughly about 6 pieces of gear. So you'll get an insane amount of gear from this, which sounds pretty awesome for farming, but there is a huge problem with this method. Let me break it down for you. So the problem then is not that I'm a huge Crystal Dynamics defender or shell and I'm saying it's morally wrong to abuse loot farming in a loot game. Is this method doesn't give you access to the best loot. So 90% of the loot roughly within the new Wakanda region actually drops from a new loot pool. This loot pool is heavily curated in regards to the stats that can roll on it. You can only ever roll 3 out of the 7 different stats on particular different pieces. So essentially what they've done is they've taken the stat system that applies to Hive Mind and Last Avenger standing exotic gear that actually kills those gear pieces, and they've applied that to random gear that drops within the Wakanda region as well. Let me actually bring up some screenshots of the gear so we can explain it a bit better here. So what we have here is some images of your range slot 2. Now the perks that can roll here are actually great, but the problem lies in the stats and the stats that are actually available on items. Again, as mentioned, you only have access to at most 3 out of 7 of the different stats. So if we look at this particular one here, this is your range slot 2. On this you could have stat-wise precision, intensity and proficiency that actually rolls on it, which if you're going for a full range build then this would actually be great. But let's say for example you're looking for a gear piece on a melee Black Panther, you're wanting the chance hitting an enemy if a range crit's available on it, you want a certain status type on your daggers, but the problem is you will never get might resolve rolling on this particular gear piece. It will only ever be the precision, the intensity and the proficiency as well. But that's your range slot 2. Let me show you the slot 1 now just so we can add a bit more context to this as well. With the melee slot then, the stats that would drop in this would be might, proficiency and resilience. So once again you could get perks that would actually work pretty well for a ranged or let's even say a heroic build you're running, but there is zero chance that your precision or your valour would actually roll in this particular gear piece. Now very quickly before we do move on, there is one thing that's actually worth farming within the Wakanda region, and it's in relation to the melee slot 1, so I'll mention that. So there's now within the new Wakanda loot, there's actually that ability to get the damage buff on melee crit that's not available anywhere else in the game. So if you're looking for damage buff on your slot 1 as a melee character, it's worth farming, but for just about anything else it's not worth farming this region at all, with the fact that 90% of the loot is going to be the Wakandan loot with the created stats. It just really kills you trying to focus on a particular stat for a build. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the stats that roll in all the 4 different gear pieces so I can actually explain this a bit better. So this is the stat distribution for the gear that drops in the Wakanda region, and as mentioned it will be about 90% of the gear will be your Wakanda gear. You can tell if it's Wakanda gear because it will have the new status effects on it, so it will have Sonic and Vibranium. So to give an example, let's say you were looking to run a melee build. Now you could only ever get might on one of the 4 different gear pieces that's available, and that's the top one. If you were looking to run a Valor build, for example, you would only ever get Valor on 1 out of the 4 different gear pieces that come from the Wakanda set. So you might get some nice perks but you're going to be missing that primary stat there, and this is the same stat distribution that really unfortunately kills the gear that drops from the priority missions, it drops from Last Avenger Standing and so on, and that you can get great perks but the stats don't always match up with them. Now I will say that if you're looking for maybe one particular gear piece, this could be worthwhile. So if you're looking for, let's just say, a range build for example, you will get your precision, intensity and proficiency. As long as you're not looking for the likes of Resolve or Valor as well, then this can actually work out. But by far, if you're looking to get god roll items that can roll any one of the 7 different stats that are available, so these are your best in slot items that you'll never really get better ones, there is a different region you want to farm them in. Let me show you where that is. So that's right, we waited 11 months for War for Wakanda. It's version 2.0 of the game. Where's the best place to go to farm gear? It's a Snowy Tundra Vault. It's still the Snowy Tundra Vault. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'll let this run actually play. I've done this recently on Captain America, and with the chests and where they spawn within this particular level, they can spawn in one of 3 different locations. So with what I'm showing here in the background, I actually throw down the shield for the different spawn points of the chests as well. So for anyone that's perhaps not seen this run, or they want what I would say is probably the most definitive version of the run, how to do it, then this is the video to watch. But there we go, that's why you shouldn't be exploiting the loot caves in the War for Wakanda expansion. If this video has been helpful, please do take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button, and I'll let the rest of this play out. So thanks for tuning in for this, stay safe, I'll see you all again soon.